Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome back, everybody. Guys, let's take a look again on the gold market. So I'm not sure that makes sense to comment here something. You probably understand everything by yourself. So in general, it's coming really well, although I don't want to tell it, but that's true that this is coming the very good times for the gold. Every time when the world is going into problems, this becomes the good time for gold. So actually, I suggest that the gold market will be the only one that should feel more or less positive among the all other assets in nearest 6-12 months. So for investment, it definitely makes sense to think about the investing in the gold, to keeping with the low leverage, maybe without any leverage, just for saving your assets, saving your money. So today we're trying to go deeper in the topic of the financial background that stands in the United States. Recently we talked about this from the point of view of the common elections in Senate in this year. Also, of course, we can't ignore the geopolitical moment. So mostly, basically, I would say that the technical factors that we have currently, they're not very important, as well could be a bit not quite maybe ignored, but overcome by the performance and real impact of the geopolitical fundamental factors. What I would like to say in two words speaking, guys. Let's first on the geopolitics. With this hearing of the shelling in the east on the Ukraine, you understand that situation is not becoming easier. So I would not be surprised if we will get the gold gap up opening on the Monday. And here's why. So if you'll take a look, for example, as well article I will show a bit later. So if we'll take a look, for example, on the Bitcoin market, and since it's trading through the weekend, it's 24/7 trading. You remember what we said about Bitcoin in our videos, those of you who are watching for them. We expect actually that market should reach the 26. And on Friday, it was the only market that was showing the drop before any other market starts falling. So stocks were more or less flat. Gold market after the first jump turned flat because on Friday it was the morning where it was some easing in tensions and everybody started thinking about, it seems it's coming to an end and everything is good. So, but the Bitcoin crushed right at this point. And this is a very good indicator of the processes that you see currently in the world, because this is, the Bitcoin currently is treated as the junk, risky asset. So it treated is even as more risky than any stock, and that's why it will be among the first assets who react on possible problems in the world. And that explains why it has dropped. And take a look what's going on currently. It's already dropping to the 38, and that supposedly should lead market back to the lows and for the downward action. We'll talk about this later. I mean, on Mondays usually we prepare the daily technical update on the Bitcoin, but this is really important. That's why I think that the gold also could open further on Monday. And to just finish the geopolitical topic, as we warned you that even 3 weeks ago, when it's just all things have started, that it will be a long-term conflict. This will not be a fast decision. It's just because of 2 moments, Russia has no room and space to retreat anymore, and that's why it was some demarche on December when it said about the safety in Europe and should be revised. So when returned back the North Atlantic Union countries to the borders of the 1997. But of course, West will never accept this, and this is really long game to play. That's why I would suggest that tensions will become even worse. And I will show you what the next direction will be. So Ukraine, it's just minor part in overall tensions. I wouldn't say that even it has any special meaning. It's just maybe some as only as reason could be used for some really big geopolitical tricks. And the next direction, it will be the Baltic countries. So take a look what we have the articles today. First is it was put in two different sources, the Mail and Republic World. So actually, as you can see, that UK Foreign Cecily Truss said that if we will not stop the Putin, he will invade later in the Baltic countries, for example. This is, of course, is just an opinion. This is, of course, is just just opinion of the person, but you should understand who are talking this in this first moment. And second, this opinion exists that this is some preparation of the background. This is preparation for blockading of the Kaliningrad, the former Königsberg. So you know that this town, it belongs to Russia, but it's separated. It has not inside the major border of the country. It is a bit isolated, and by the Baltic countries. And if by some reason there may be a response on, for example, supposed invasion in Ukraine or something, the West countries will try to blockade Kaliningrad, and Russia will make an attempt to deblockade it. It might be treated as invasion in the Baltic countries. So I think that this will be the next direction of the development of the conflict in Europe. Will be the Baltic countries will become the next victim that will be put in the fire of this conflict. I will not be surprised if later the Poland also will be dropped in this fire as well, by some other reason maybe. So whatever it will be. Because well, we already explained the reasons for this, for the more or less big conflict in Europe. It is really needed. So things that we see currently from the UK foreign, it's just starting forming the background for this next step. That, as you understand, will be the big boost for the gold, and this is the reason why we suggest that within the coming year, the gold should be feel really good. So that's what about geopolitics. Speaking about the financial moments, whatever Fed will do, it should not hurt gold too much. Why? Because the interest rate increasing for approximately 1.5%, 1.75%, it's already priced in for the 2022. 6-7 rate hikes for 25 basis points, it's already priced in. Maybe if Fed will make the attempt to raise rate for 0.5%, it might make some negative impact, but it will be very short term. Why? It's because the 25 points increase will be treated as the dovish decision and already priced in the prices. While the rising rate for 0.5%, it will make closer the slowdown of the United States economy. And with big doubts concerning the Fed efficiency and its policy to struggle with inflation and do not hurt the fragile growth of the United States economy, in this moment it also might be treated in a twofold ways. So, but the really important signal will be the changing in inflation numbers after the first rate hike in March. If even Fed will raise rate for 0.5% and people will see that inflation will not slow down, and we show that it will not slow down just because it has absolutely different reasons, different source, I would say, that will be really big hurt on the reputation of the Fed and its ability to struggle with inflation. So whatever you will see in the current circumstances, well, everything stands mostly in favor of the gold market, and we think that it's really might be the good decision to consider taking a long position on the gold for more or less a considerable period of time as investing. So we're not talking about the speculation, although this also might be, but since investing is definitely the asset that you need to consider. Now speaking on the short-term situation. In fact, guys, here we have three clusters of the targets. The nearest cluster stands around starting 1911 and lasting till the 1912 area. 1920. Next cluster will be around 1953, 1965. This will be different extensions, as you can see, XOP with this pattern, butterfly 1618, but what's more important, this will be, guys, yearly pivot resistance one. And also this will be, no, nothing, this will be just these things. Here will be also the weekly major resistance around 1916. And final target, I mean, more or less that is visible right now, is a previous top around 2075. So that's free cluster of the targets. Currently, as you can see, market stands at the overbought. But with the current background, and you can see in general, market shows really slow reactions, very small reactions to the downside. On Friday, it was also anemic reaction on overbought area. We suggest that's more probable that more or less retracement maybe will start. It's difficult to promise something, but at least it may be start once market hits the first target, so around 1920, because there we have some important OP on the weekly chart. We have the major 618 level. The weekly overbought also stands not too far from this level, and it more chances to get some pullback down from there when the market will hit this level. So if you would like to invest, maybe it makes sense to wait, because I don't think that it will be too long to wait. Probably it might happen even on the coming week. So once market will hit it, maybe we'll get some pullback that you could try to use for entry. On the 4-hour time frame chart, by the way, you can see that XOP target here is minor ABCD pattern. It also stands around 1920. So it will be another agreement with this area. On Friday, you can see we haven't got any significant action. So even bread and butter we haven't got. This market has shown real small retracement. Potentially, theoretically, you could suggest that this might be the double repo here with a bit deeper retracement to the 1860 area. But with the events of this weekend, I think that we will not get any double repo. I think that we could get more chances that we could get just market open around the 1920 directly. So that's what we have currently on the gold market. Let's keep watching, and it seems that gold market gradually is becoming the major actually asset that we should to consider and that we should trade and use to save our assets currently. So that's our view on the situation on the gold market.